Now is probably a good time for us to do a little crafting of expectations. The story of Cardano, like a lot of blockchains, has been one of milestones. There was Byron and Shelley and Mary and Allegra and Goguen and Alonzo. And these were all big, notable events we, the community, got pretty excited about. But in a lot of cases, it was easy for this excitement to give way to disappointment. That can be chalked up, I think, in large part to a misunderstanding of these upgrades. They're really rollouts of infrastructure. It's not the exotic sports car, it's the new highway. The cool cars come later. People were underwhelmed by Alonzo last fall. Where were the dApps? But here we are, 9 or 10 months later, and we've got all the DEXs and other dApps already running on the network that would have made everybody happy back in September. If all of these DEXs had launched back on the day of the Alonzo hard fork in September, people would have been ecstatic, but that wasn't the case. They came later because Alonzo was just a rollout of the infrastructure that made that possible. Vasil might be the same. It might look like an empty box on the day of launch, but give it some time and the dApps will come. Ready? Let's go. Today, we are going to discuss 7 million merchants who can now accept ADA, a big Cardano dApp hinting that it's close, Cardano still at the top of an important metric, another big Cardano dApp getting close to its redesign, a Cardano metaverse about to release its fungible token, and a surprise for early Virtua minters. If this box reminds you a little bit too much of your bank account in this era of hyper fiat inflation, or if you're finding value in these videos each weekday, please consider delegating to the army of spies stake pool, ticker AOS. Guess what the killer dApp in crypto has been all along? It's paying each other in something other than fiat. This article says over 7 million merchants can accept Cardano using AdaPay's new plugin. So the plugin was developed as part of a new Catalyst project by Coty. According to this article, the AdaPay plugin was developed on Odoo on-demand open object. Cardano can now be accepted for payment at over 7 million businesses thanks to this plugin. So I think we kind of overlook the value of crypto as an actual payment method. That's really the use case that I think attracted a lot of us to Bitcoin in the early days, because that's pretty much all you could do with Bitcoin then, and kind of still all you can do with Bitcoin now. And Bitcoin, of course, has been wildly successful, even though it's sort of rebranded itself to a store of value. In the early days, that was not the case. In the early days, we were talking about buying coffee with Bitcoin. I myself had a brick and mortar business where we accepted Bitcoin for things we were selling to customers, and it worked out just fine. Now, 7 million merchants can do that with ADA. It's pretty easy at this point to say that Liqwid is probably one of the most anxiously awaited unlaunched projects on Cardano. As far as Cardano DeFi projects go, it's probably one of the most widely known and has a large community. DC tweeted this: "It's not much longer now, Aqua friends." When asked for specifics, he had this to say: "Testnet is initially going to be a closed beta on the Vasil public testnet. This is set to start very soon. Final pieces, testing coming together for this as we tweet on this bird app." This is your occasional reminder that Cardano is still crushing everyone at actually doing the blockchain development thing. This is a post from a Twitter profile called Proof of Github, and it looks like Cardano is indeed still in the #1 spot there. What's interesting about this is that it looks like this bot, you can trigger sort of a monthly accounting of GitHub commits just by typing monthly. It looks like Liqwid is not the only Cardano DeFi project bringing us something new very soon. MuesliSwap said V2 is around the corner, and with a brand new look and feel for MuesliSwap. What do you think about this token page for Milk? Stay tuned for more mock-ups of our upcoming redesign. And here you can see what the new V2 of MuesliSwap will look like on mainnet. Up here, it looks like they got some kind of a question about the order book. They said, of course, we didn't forget our order book in the MuesliSwap V2 designs. Stay tuned. And here you can see, indeed, there are buy orders, sell orders, trades, and open orders. Always super interested to follow whatever MuesliSwap has got going on, because they're kind of the ultimate don't talk about it, just deliver sort of project. We knew that from the very moment we found out about MuesliSwap, because they launched the very first DEX on Cardano and they didn't say a word about it until they launched. They were so unknown, such a dark horse project that people didn't actually believe they were real. But here we are many months later, and they've delivered a fantastic DEX, an order book, no less, which is super delightful to use. I love using MuesliSwap. I think it's a great project. And I also like all the little mysteries with MuesliSwap, like this one. On the Milk Pools page right now, you can see it says beta, NFT rewards, and more token pools coming soon. This is interesting. We don't know. They keep everything so close to the vest. We don't actually know. Does NFT rewards, does it mean NFTs that are being launched for sale in an NFT market that MuesliSwap might be launching? Does it mean MuesliSwap's own NFTs? I mean, it sounds pretty interesting. If MuesliSwap is going to have its own NFT market, and if, say, now here I'm just imagining what could be possible. Say if every NFT project that launched in their NFT market, if a few of those NFTs were sort of broken off for the milk stakers, that'd be pretty fantastic. On the other hand, if it's their own MuesliSwap NFTs, then we'd have to ask, like, what value will these NFTs end up having? What utility will they have? Like what is the value of these NFT rewards? But with MuesliSwap, it's always hard to tell, because there's so little information out there about their plans. And I kind of like it, because there's not this huge buildup of expectation. It just kind of appears one day. They're like, hey, look at us, we're a DEX. And we're like, oh, okay. And then it's like, hey, we have this functionality. We have, milk staking now. We have an AMM over on Milkomeda. Now our AMM's coming to mainnet. Now we've got a V2 coming. I kind of like their style. It's a little bit different than the typical crypto style, where you have announcements of announcements and updates and progress reports for months and sometimes years. And then finally delivery, which is often underwhelming to the community. Instead, with MuesliSwap, you get very few details, and then they're like, here it is, and you kind of get it all at once. We also saw some activity out of Ada Realm. They had this tweet: the time has finally come for our Ada Realm coin launch, and we are launching, and then they have some promotional giveaways and those kind of things to encourage people to retweet what they're putting out here. But if you take a look at the video, they eventually introduce you to the Ada Realm coin. I always think Ada Realm is kind of an interesting case study in what can be accomplished by a smaller metaverse project in Cardano. You can see here, their Twitter has currently 4,978, just under 5,000 followers. But they seem to be marching right ahead. They've partnered with a game studio. I believe it's called Actum Games. We've talked about that in the past on this channel. And they've released, some little demos of what their metaverse virtual world might look like in VR. So I'm interested to see. We've got some very big metaverse projects in Cardano, a couple of very, very big ones. And it's nice that we also have this case study in what can be done with a smaller metaverse, a metaverse at least with a smaller community. I still maintain, I don't think we're really going to know which project is going to deliver what until these projects are actually up and running, and we've determined that they're kind of going to be able to sustain themselves. There's quite a bit of conceptual distance between where all these projects are now and the point where we're actually in these virtual worlds with our little avatars doing things that are fun and actually worth doing. I think there's quite a bit of mileage in between the point all these projects are at now and that point. And I always want to reiterate, whenever we talk about these metaverse projects, any or all of them could fail before they deliver anything that we enjoy. That's why I always stress this is really like you're buying little game pieces in a video game that you may or may not ever get to play one day. I definitely don't think about these in any kind of financial sense as investments or anything like that. I definitely think about all these metaverse projects as buying little game pieces, and that money, I must kiss it goodbye. The second I buy that game piece, it's like going to some weird hobbyist board game store and buying some kind of like miniature collectible. You might as well just throw this money away, pretend like you will never see it again, because we don't know which ones of these projects will actually launch something cool and which ones will fail. I'm certain that of all the metaverse projects in crypto, many for sure will fail. And it's very hard to figure out which ones will fail and which ones will actually succeed in delivering something that you might actually enjoy. It's interesting in this case that dApps was kind of following in Pavia's footsteps with what looks like, this looks like it's going to be some kind of a fungible token drop, maybe to the parcel holders. I don't think Ada has really explicitly said that, but I think a lot of people in the Ada community are kind of expecting that there's going to be some kind of an airdrop of these Ada tokens, like happened to or for Pavia parcel holders, and that was certainly, I think, at least at the time it happened, that was definitely sort of a very welcomed and exciting event for the Pavia parcel holders. So it'll be interesting to see how this turns out for a smaller metaverse project in Cardano. As always, for the sake of transparency, I like to remind you that I hold parcels in Ada, Pavia, Virtua, and cornucopias, as well as assets of Liqwid and MuesliSwap. As a holder of assets in those projects, as well as many other Cardano projects that we haven't talked about tonight, it's great that we're getting so close to Vasil. Not because I think the projects I watch and that I hold assets from are going to make some kind of quantum leap on the day that Vasil launches. It's more like I'm relieved that we're sort of knocking down all the obstacles. We're sort of surmounting all of the hurdles so these projects can have an open runway. So there's, not quite as many substantial, things holding them back. No gigantic excuses as to why they can't do what we're expecting them to do. Just kind of an open runway so they can spread their wings and do their thing and become the projects we're all hoping they'll become, or not, or fail. Because certainly some of our Cardano projects will fail, just like with any blockchain, just like with any kind of tech startup you could possibly imagine. Some of these projects will definitely fail, but I'm glad we're getting past Vasil, getting those SIPs 31 through 33 tools so that the projects can just kind of do their things in this new Plutus 2.0 era, and we can see what they're actually going to become. Obviously, the Vasil upgrade is going to affect DeFi projects very differently than it does metaverse projects in Cardano, because there's a wildly different amount of things happening on-chain with a DeFi project versus a metaverse project. So luckily, we don't have to wait for Vasil for our Cardano metaverse projects to do things like give us free mints. Here, Virtua is saying, hey, we have some epic news. As promised, we haven't forgotten about all of you who minted land last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They know there were speed bumps. So OGs, apparently that's what they're calling the people who minted Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. OGs who minted on Thursday will get an exclusive rare Cardano VFlect. OGs who minted on Friday and Saturday will get an exclusive uncommon Cardano VFlect. These exclusive avatars will never be repeated, won't be for sale anywhere else, and will reflect your OG status on Cardano Island. But that is not all. We want all of our OGs to ride in style on Cardano Island. So we talked to our friends at Nitro League and are giving you free, officially designed Nitro League cars too. Looks like the Thursday people get metallic green special edition cars, and the people on Friday and Saturday will get exclusive blue Cardano special edition cars. I don't know about you guys, but I like this trend of giving us free stuff. I would say just go ahead and give us free stuff all you want. Hopefully it will have some value, that we can reap after the fact. I don't think any of us in the Cardano community are going to turn down something that's free and also has value. So hopefully this trend will just kind of continue with these fungible token drops, like I think we're going to see in Ada Realm, and here we get some free NFTs from Virtua. Hopefully this is something that just kind of keeps going on for some time with this flow of free stuff. I'm not so sure that'll be the case, but we'll see how it goes. I hope you're having a great week, and I will talk to you tomorrow.